Yeah.
Does your identity lie in the amount of people that are following you and who interacts with your content? I just think that God gives us talents in different ways, and not all those talents need to be limited to just within a church. So I think that instilled that main character energy at a very young age. That's what Jesus wants. He wants us to be the salt and the light of the earth.
Yeah.
That means going where there's no salt and where there's no light.
Have you been put in situations that kind of go against your faith?
Yes.
Okay. Hey guys, welcome back to my podcast. Yo, you're here, I'm here, and I have a special guest who's also here. So thanks for tuning in again. If you haven't already liked, subscribed, commented, or done any of those things, like what are we doing? Why? You've enjoyed this podcast. You've come back probably 2, 3, 4 times now, so I think it's time to start subscribing. It's time to start liking. So I encourage you to do that today if you haven't. Thanks for tuning in. We have another special guest. Okay, you guys have seen my husband, but today we have an amazing guest, and it's no other but the one and only Christy. She is multifaceted, all right? And Christy Kioko is a content creator. She's a model. She's a singer. She's a host. Guys, it doesn't stop there, okay? She's also the founder of the Style series, from interviewing some of Seattle's fashion icon to also being the creator of Operation School Child, which is an amazing project that she started in Kenya. Yo, guys, that doesn't stop there, okay? Most importantly, Christy, she is a sister. She's a child of God. She's a friend. She's a daughter. She's my friend, y'all, and it's an honor that I'm her friend. It's my honor. Like guys, I don't think you understand who we have today, okay?
Aw, you're too
so
sweet.
I'm so excited that she's here. Christy, your resume runs deep, girl. Like deep, okay?
Thank you.
And I'm so happy that you're here. Thank you for joining me today. You're really like, of course my husband is my guest, yes, but you're like the first official guest, and so this is very special to me because I was thinking, I'm like, man, Christy is special in so many different ways, and so I'm excited to get into the topics that we're talking about. Everything from you as a child, everything from how you got started, and all of the projects that you do, and content creation, and how you navigate everything that God has gifted you with. You have so many beautiful talents and gifts, and not only that, you're beautiful yourself, okay? I can keep going, but I'm melting right now. I really could keep going. It's an honor to have you here.
You're so kind. This is like the best introduction I have ever received.
Stop it.
It is such an honor to be your friend. I feel like God knew what he was doing when we sat like behind. We weren't even facing each other. We sat like behind each other.
Yes.
That one day in the like lounge area at Northwest University.
And you.
And that was like 3 years ago.
That was literally 3 years ago. Yeah. That's how we met in college. I don't know what happened. I just know that you were pretty, and I think I said a comment or something.
Me.
I was like, well, this is a gorgeous girl.
You complimented me, and like we ended up just talking, and I don't know, like I just felt like this was something special from the beginning.
Amen.
So
I 100%
really,
agree.
it's an honor for me.
Yeah.
Like, it is an honor to be here. I love my podcast. I was so excited when you started it. And you're doing such an amazing job.
Go trying.
You and Ezekiel, and I know like raising a baby is also tough. And you're in a really beautiful season of transition. So happy to be in your new apartment. Like, this is just amazing. I feel like God is already like blessing you guys.
Amen.
And it's such an honor to be here.
Thank you. Guys, we can go on and on. Like, this is like when I say this relationship is from God, it's from God. Like she gave a little
100%.
background of how we met, and that's really that. Like when God has a divine appointment for you to meet someone, ever since then we've stayed connected through various things. And so it's crazy that we're here and we're gonna continue to do life together. So today we're kind of having we're having a conversation that I think is so important to the culture, right? My podcast like aims to have culture shifting conversations with just people who are like me and you, right? Who are doing amazing things, who are doing their part in the world with whatever gift or talent that God has given them.
Right.
And so today we get the honor of sitting down with you and being able to just explore where God has taken you in your journey, but not just that, like really tune into who Christy was as a child. And so we're gonna get started there. Okay, first off, you look beautiful. I love the outfit, I love the hair, all of it. So let's get started. Okay,
thank you,
Christy. Okay. I want to start with a quick icebreaker. Okay, so this is this or that. So I'm gonna say something, this or that, and you're just gonna name which one you would rather pick.
This is really hard because I'm very indecisive.
Yes, I'm the same.
I'm like,
I'm the same way. So we're gonna start off hot and strong. Okay, New York Fashion Week or the Met Gala. Like if you were going to attend one of those and they gave you an invite and were like, hey, we want you to come, and they were both at the same time at the same like day, whatever, which one would you go to?
Definitely the Met Gala.
The Met Gala.
That's like my life goal.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah.
Oh, I love it. Yo, Met Gala is crazy.
Met Gala is crazy.
Yeah. I would. Okay. Let's see. Local brands, like self-owned brands or like bigger brands, like
a small business versus.
Yes, exactly. Small business versus name brands, basically.
That's really
What are you
hard.
going with?
It's really hard because I love supporting small businesses. I would say Nike.
Nike?
Yeah. Yes. I would love to work with Nike.
Yeah. Okay, bet. Let's see. Braids or natural hair?
Braids.
Braids?
Yeah.
They last longer.
They are so good
you
for
know
your
what?
natural hair.
I would say natural hair though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You rock the natural hair.
Thank you. You rock braids. You rock natural hair too though.
I love my natural hair. I literally cannot. But if I were to pick, I like braids just because I don't have to think about my hair.
You just
natural hair is so beautiful, but it's like
it takes
a child.
Time.
You have to like
guys.
Yeah. It takes a lot of work.
Yeah, it
and
does.
You're constantly thinking about it.
No, you are.
Yeah.
Like all the time. Okay, let's move on. Instagram or YouTube?
Instagram all the way. Yes. Okay. I love Instagram.
Okay, Instagram or TikTok?
Instagram.
Really?
Yes. TikTok is so scary to me. But I mean, everyone loves TikTok.
They do.
And I think there's a reason why. And I don't think I've been able to tap into that reason why yet.
Yeah.
So like, I'm going to see what's up with TikTok.
Okay.
But I'm so comfortable with Instagram. Yeah.
Is that where you kind of started? Did you start on Instagram? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, last one. Okay. So you're doing a shoot. Right, a photo shoot.
Okay.
Where are you taking that photo? At a location type thing, or in a studio? Does that make sense?
Ooh.
Where are you taking that photo? Studio?
Yeah.
Really? You don't like locations?
Locations are fun.
Yeah.
I think studios are great because you really just focus on you as the art.
Yeah.
And there's not that many distractions. Whereas in locations, you're considering other people in the background. You're considering where you're at.
Yeah.
Depending on what you're shooting, it can be a lot.
Yeah. Whereas studio's already there, ready to go.
Because we already know exactly what to do. And then once you get in the flow, there's no distraction. You're just kind of
Yeah, it's already there.
Yeah.
Okay, well, cool. Thanks for having a little icebreaker.
That was fun.
You feel comfortable?
Yes.
Are you okay? I'm comfortable now.
I am.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that was fun.
Yeah.
Good question.
Good. I'm glad. Okay, so as we continue the conversation, here's something else I wanted to bring up to you. So you're a person that, as we continue this conversation, we're going to learn about the multiple places that you're in. But one thing that I've kind of seen about you, correct me if I'm wrong, but is that you have a growth mindset. Like there's no fixed, like this is where it is, I'm content with it, but you have a growth mindset. And I have a fun statistic for you, okay? Or just a psychology fact. It says that people with growth mindset believe that their abilities can develop and improve over time, while those who have fixed mindset are just, it's innate and it cannot be changed, and it's just that. And so research shows, Christy, that people with growth mindsets tend to have more, to be more resilient. They tend to be more just motivated and passionate and everything like that. And so that's what I see in you. And so I have a question for you. Like, do you ever think that you have arrived at something or have arrived at a goal? Because with just everything that I named off at the beginning, are you a person that's always wanting to better yourself, or do you feel like once you get to a thing, you have arrived?
I have never felt like I've arrived. Never.
Yeah.
No. I always am, like you said, I'm always like looking towards the next thing. I'll accomplish something, I'll celebrate it. I think that all milestones and accomplishments should be celebrated because your brain loves to be validated in some sort of way. So when you celebrate your small wins, like, it's a good thing. Yeah. And it pushes you to continue to do more. So, but I've never felt like I've arrived. At least not yet. Yeah. I feel like you're still growing. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Actually, I feel like I'm at the very beginning.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. Because then it's like, okay, God, what else? But like you said, you're celebrating the beautiful wins that God has already given you. So let's go back to Christy as a child, right? Okay. We just learned how like growth mindset, you're motivated, you're passionate, take us back to Christy as a child, like let's say 1 to 12 years old, right? Early childhood. What tell us about your family. Did they kind of inspire this growth mindset?
Christy as a child.
Yeah.
I was very blessed as a child. My parents, when they came here from Kenya, they met up with like a lot of the friends that they had already. Their friends were already here, and everyone was in their 20s. Wow. Like around our age. Yeah. And so I was the first baby of the friend group. And being the first baby of the friend group came with blessings. Yeah. Because like
whole
the
village.
Parties, like it was a village. I was raised by a village, and I was like the center of attention. And so my parents would record pretty much my entire life, like from the first day of my life all the way till I was like 10 years old. Wow. I have memories, video recordings. I can literally watch my life back.
Oh, that's a blessing.
And so I think that instilled that main character energy at a very young age. So like when I was young, I've always just like lived my own fairy tale. And I think my parents definitely did. They created that environment for me to imagine so much and to just like dream big and like just live in my imagination. Yeah.
What are some values that your parents like instilled in you at that age?
Respect. That's a big one. Like respecting your
especially
elders.
African culture, African community.
They instilled respect, kindness, and also like being careful about the words that we use. So like there was no tolerance for any demeaning words in the house. Wow. Like I was never allowed to say the word stupid. I was never allowed to say like ugly or like just like self-demeaning words towards myself or about other people. Yeah. And so I feel like that had a really big impact on my life.
What? Yeah. Words are so powerful.
100%. My mom is powerful. Like, yeah.
So the fact that they're like
instilled that in me for sure.
Yeah. That's amazing. And we don't think about like what we say and how it affects like our achievements and stuff. Like like you just said, speaking out and speaking things into existence. And so the fact that your parents were like, hey, that's not going to be allowed here. Yeah. That's amazing. Yeah. What? That's so awesome. Okay. So like when Christy is now a teenager, so you talked about how like that main character energy, did that carry out into teenage? Because the teenage phase is hard. People are judging you. You become aware of like what you're wearing. People become aware of who you are and what you're wearing. So what was Christy like as a teenager?
She was a roller coaster of a girl. I still had that main character energy. Yeah. I think I lived in just, my friends can tell you, I lived in my own world. Like, I kind of just had this like happy outlook on life. No matter what, I was always happy, always joyful, always optimistic, seeing the best in people. And my friends like they would kind of like laugh at me because I would do things that are kind of like corny.
Yeah. like YouTube, maybe?
No.
Did you start YouTube during that age?
No, I didn't. When I say that, I mean like I would like make everything into a song.
Yeah.
I'd make everything into a song. I was always like just really kind and considerate of others. Yeah. That was like my early teens. I loved friends. Actually, that's something about me that I've had since I was really little. Even just like going on family trips without bringing a friend. I was an only child until I was 11.
Yeah.
So I was, and again, coming from like being the center of attention as a baby, like I loved being social. I loved like having a friend with me. Yeah. And I feel like friendship is such a big thing to me. It meant so much to me. So in high school, I was friends with pretty much everyone. Yeah. Like
you didn't have a circle.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I had like the people I hung out with routinely, and I was a choir kid and a drama kid. Yeah. But like my friends were also like athletes. I had friends that were cheerleaders. I had friends that were in like every department. Yeah. And I thought that was so fun.
That's like, so cool.
It meant a lot to me. I feel like high school was so great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't have good high school experiences.
I know.
At all.
And I'm not saying that it was perfect. Like, no. I definitely had like the teenage.
Sure. Yeah, everyone.
Like worries and drama. Oh my gosh, the drama. Actually, the drama. That was crazy.
Was tough.
But I don't know. I just like.
So your love for people do you think it's always just been there from a very early age and continued? Yeah. That's huge.
When I was 8, I vividly remember my parents loved Oprah. So we'd watch the Oprah Winfrey Show all the time. And I remember watching and seeing how Oprah would like give trailers to families. Yeah. And just be so generous with everything. When I was 8, I vividly remember being like, that's what I want to do with my life. Like, I want to give away houses and cars to, like, families and kids that need it. And I've always had a passion for people. Yeah. Even when I was a baby, I have pictures and videos of, like, just like your son. Like, he's such a people, child. Yeah. I was very much like that.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, that speaks to a lot about, like, your adult years now. Like I definitely could say like the different spaces that you're in are with different people, and they all don't necessarily look alike. They all don't necessarily have the same passions. Like I see you in like the church group, I see you in the stylist. So that speaks to really like when you say that, I'm like, I believe it 100% because I see that. Yeah. So when you're thinking about your adult years, right? So you're in your adult years, what are some of the things that developed in high school that carried on in your adult years, right? Like some of the passions that you had as in high school that carried on as an adult.
Loved music so much.
Yeah, music was
a defining part of my high school. I think, being in the choir. The school that I went to was Bothell High School, and we had like the best choir in the whole school district, I would say. Period. Like we were always competing with like the other high schools, and we would wipe them out the water. Like everyone in my class was so talented musically, and so it gave us the most incredible opportunities to like go to New York and sing in Carnegie Hall, and we were the youngest choir to sing in Carnegie Hall with this group. We performed this whole curriculum. it was called Requiem. Literally, the title was Requiem, and it was this big composition of music, choral music.
Yeah.
And there were choirs brought in from all around the world to premiere this at Carnegie Hall, and like from Italy and like Greece and Rome and all these. Yeah. And they were all adult choirs, and we were the only like kids choir.
Yeah, that's huge.
and it was the most incredible experience. And so, and before that, I was in choir since I was 6 in church choir, and music just gave me the best experiences. And so I think that carried on into my adult life. I at Northwest was part of the Coralon's gospel choir, and again, like,
I remember that. Fun. Yo, Christy could sing. Yeah, my first time hearing it, I was like, wait, it was good. So yes, everyone. Oh, come on, I remember you. My first time hearing you sing was, in the chapel, like whenever we had chapels, and that was my first time, and I was like, wait, give her the mic, keep the mic there. You were so good. Thank you. What? Yeah. Okay, so music, what else was there?
I would say music, I think business.
Okay,
for sure. That's actually a big one, because I was FBLA chapter officer in high school. So FBLA is Future Business Leaders of America.
Yeah.
And I was a chapter officer.
Fancy. Come on.
Girl. And I did like competitive public speaking.
Okay.
And went to state for that. Yeah. And then I think state and then nationals.
Okay.
Was in New Orleans, and so we got to go to New Orleans.
Competitive speaking?
Yeah,
what does that even look
there
like?
There was different categories of business that you would compete in.
Okay.
And so mine was public speaking.
Yeah.
And I remember that the national competition was being held in NOLA, New Orleans, Louisiana, and I really wanted to go to New Orleans, Louisiana. Yeah. I was like, I want to go. So I worked really, really hard to memorize these speeches and like practice. And took myself there with my team, and it was so fun. Went with one of my best friends, Gabriella.
Yeah.
And that love for business, like I think I took that into college because I changed my major from nursing to business marketing and management.
Wow.
And so that love for business has
started
always
there. Yeah.
And I think it started when I was younger too, because my mom has a business where I would help her when I was like 8 to like 15, 16, 17, 18 with sales.
Okay.
And getting to like learn customer experience, customer service, selling stuff, convincing someone to buy something. All those skills for sure. Like I think instilled.
They
were instilled at a young age.
Right. Yeah. And then they just grew as you're an adult. Yeah. Because now you're kind of, you have your own businesses, you're your own boss with so many different things. So let's talk about the different spaces that you're involved in. Okay. Let's first start with the Style Series. Tell us about the Style Series.
Style Series was an internship project that I worked on with a friend of mine. Okay. Because in my senior year, I needed an internship to complete my credits. And I had one with a PR agency in Seattle. Yeah. It was a fashion PR agency. But then it ended up getting cut short because the owner decided to cut it short. Yeah. So it kind of left me hanging. I was like, I don't really know what to do. I had made a blog post in that internship. Okay. Like we were doing like fashion news, blog posts, doing interviews with like people in the fashion community. Okay. And I was like, what if I just continued this? Because I figured out I had a love for that. Okay. I didn't know I had a love for that. Yeah. I wanted to continue it in some way. And then my friend Hannah, who owns a business, made it so that technically I could get that credit through being like her personal assistant and having an internship under her business. Yeah. So we curated this internship and we're like, what am I going to do with all my time? And, we decided to start interviewing designers and like record it. Yeah. Which already aligned with what I was wanting to do. Okay. And so it was called the Seattle Style Series. And then we did that for a while, like just a few months. I graduated and then I got picked up by The Real, which is the company I work for now. Yeah. And we had to put it on pause because it got really busy. Navigating a big girl job wasn't easy. And so when we picked it back up, we had a whole new like rebrand and we named it the Style Series because Seattle, like, of course we wanted to focus on Seattle, but we thought bigger. Like we wanted it to expand to something. We didn't know exactly what it would be, but we knew that it could be something bigger than just in Seattle. So we changed it to the. Yeah. And it's been the Style Series
Come
ever
on.
since.
Come on. And from there, you guys have been to New York Fashion Week. When I saw that, I was insane. Like, what?
Like, and I had no idea that that's what God had in the works.
No, for sure. And that's with anything that you start. Like, you never know where God's going to take it. You just were being obedient to the fact that he's calling you to do this. And he's like, yo, I'm going to take it here. And you're going to be shocked. So you went to New York. Shocked.
I was shocked because I wrote that in my, like, bucket list a year prior.
Wow.
And I was like, one of my dreams is to make it to New York Fashion Week next year. Like, nothing was in my brain about, because I was working at the time. I wasn't thinking about the Style Series at the time. So I didn't think it was going to be like that. Yeah. And it was the most insane experience ever.
Talk about, like, obedience. Like, okay, so you obeyed with God with the Style Series, right? You didn't necessarily, like, know, like you said, with that internship, it ended, and then you're like, okay, I have a passion for this. Like, when God is asking you to be obedient to expand the Style Series, was it a scary thing? Were you nervous? Were you like, hey, where's this gonna go? Like, was the obedience like, yep, God, let's do it? Or was there fear behind it?
No fear. Wow. Just imagination. Like, I think I had a really big vision for it. Yeah. And my co-host Hannah, she and I both believed in what it could be. Yeah. We were already starting to see the impact it was having on the community. Okay. Because before the Style Series, no one was talking about fashion in Seattle. Yeah. Nobody cared about fashion in Seattle.
There was no fashion in Seattle, Christy.
I mean, there was. But, like, and we knew that there was.
You just had to find it?
Yeah, like, people just didn't know where to find it. And so Hannah, like, she already had been working in the fashion community, and she grew up in fashion. I was building my resume. I was working in fashion at Nordstrom, and then I started styling, and then Tory Burch, and then I started being a remote stylist at Amazon. Yeah. And I curated, like, just this experience in fashion without knowing that that would give me the knowledge.
Come on.
Yeah, like, I didn't know that that's where I would get the knowledge to do the Style Series, and that's where the passion came. But apart from that, like, it was just, I got this vision, shared it with Hannah. Hannah was on the same boat, and, like, we were like, we're gonna make it happen. And God just started opening the doors. And there was no fear attached to it, because it was just fun. Like, it was like, we didn't really have any intention of, like, being big or, like, blowing. We just wanted to, we had this passion for our community, and, like, we wanted to just share that with everyone, and tell everyone, and encourage people to step out and, like, be confident in their own style. And also get to know the cool people that are doing stuff
and
in our
build
city.
the community. That's huge. Okay, so you talk about, like, stepping out in your style. Have you always had good style? Like, did you always know how to dress? Because, Christy, let me tell you, I couldn't dress. I don't know. I
like your outfit today. It's really cute.
But that's because I was like, okay, Christy's coming. Let me throw something together. But no, like, from high school, even younger than high school. But I would go to school in sweats.
We were not thinking about fashion, and unless, like, you were born knowing you wanted to be a fashion designer, like, none of us were really thinking about, like, we had to focus on getting up at 7 a.m. to be there. I did not really, I mean, I showcased my personal style in high school, but it was pretty questionable if you look at it. But I actually came to a realization yesterday, because my parents were cleaning out some stuff in the storage, and I found this purse that I had when I was 12. I completely forgot about this purse. I was going to bring it today, because I was like, oh my gosh, I wanted to show you guys. It is the most beautiful bag. And I used to carry that thing when I was 12 and 13. And it is a gorgeous, like, bag. And I'm like, I used to wear this when I was, and I knew it because I opened it, and there was a ticket to the 9/11 memorial in 2013. So I was 13 years old carrying this gorgeous bag. And I'm like, I guess I've always cared about fashion in some sort of way. I always was, my mom says I was very picky about what I wore.
Okay, see, so you were,
but I didn't know.
But you didn't know it.
It was unconscious.
See, I was the total opposite. I knew what I was wearing, Christy, and I knew it didn't look good, and I still would wear it.
Who cares? You wanted,
I still would wear it.
Comfort is not something
Christy, stop making excuses.
But even, like, now that I do care, and I still don't sacrifice comfort.
Good.
And in high school, you can pull up the pictures if you find them. Like you'll find me in
photos? Like, okay, that makes me feel 100%. That makes me feel better.
My friends gassed me. They're like, you used to wear Keds, and I was like, and what about it?
Right.
Yeah.
What about it?
And what about it?
No.
But yeah, I was pretty casual in high school. Yeah. We also, fashion is expensive.
It is.
None of us in high school had the money to like really invest in like good clothes and stuff. So I guess once you grow and you start to mature and stuff, and you start making more money because you have a job and everything, then
you can kind of expand.
It opens the door and it accesses. You get more access to things.
100%. Do you always get inspired by the people of the fashion shows, or do you have your particular style that you always stick to?
I think more so now I am diversifying my style a bit, and so I do draw inspiration. Okay. But when I was really learning my personal style, no, I just went with what I felt looked good together, like coordinated color-wise, silhouette. Yeah, it was just it was kind of like a guessing game. Yeah. I can't even say that I have one particular style.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as we close on the style series, where is it kind of going now? Like where, obviously, if you can shout out the Instagram page, and then tell us a little bit of the future of it.
Okay, well, if you want to tap into the style series, you're going to go on Instagram and follow the.style.series. And then our website is thestyleseries.fashion. Yep. Not .com, .fashion. And so, yeah, I mean, long-term vision is just being a community, an online community and platform to learn about fashion. Yeah. Learn about the people that are doing it, learning it, working in it, creatives, designers. We kind of just do a lot. Like for a minute, I was like, man, this is turning into a media company without me even realizing it. And I think that became a little bit overwhelming for me at the beginning of the year. So I did scale back on productions. So we were doing like full on productions like this, doing like red carpet interviews. We were doing kind of everything. And not that that's a bad thing, but when it's like a really small team and you have a full-time job and there's only one of me and there's only so much that you can do at once. So I think I'm slowing down, but I'm going to build it gradually.
Okay. Cool. I'm excited. Thanks for sharing the style series.
It's gonna be fun.
Speaking of slowing down, you're not really slowing down because you have another amazing project. Operation School Child. Tell us a little bit more about that and how it got started.
Oh my gosh.
I can see how your face lights up, even me saying this. So I see that you're excited about it.
100%.
So tell me about it.
Yeah. That is my childhood dream coming true. Like I said before, I think I've always dreamt of being a philanthropist before I knew what a philanthropist even meant. I don't even think I still know what a philanthropist does.
I don't know what that is.
I know you have to be really rich to be a philanthropist. That's one thing I know. But one thing I also know is like you don't have to be a millionaire to do mission work. You don't have to be
come on.
You don't have to have it all to do something that changes people's lives. And I know that because my family has been doing this type of work for several years since I was a little girl. And so with Operation School Child, I'm praying to God that he makes it into a nonprofit one day.
Amen.
But how it started was my family would fundraise every year. And we would take whatever we raise and take it back home to Kenya and dedicate it to a given school. In whatever county, whatever area that we feel like God is calling us to. And we would supply those students with daily essentials, school supplies. And then if we have more, we're able to bring in some people to cook and do a full course meal for them. Just to make their day. Because, and I could talk forever about this. But poverty is a really tough thing to live in. My dad grew up in poverty. My mom wasn't as bad, but it was still challenging. I think there's a lot of families that experience a lot of like financial issues and struggles, and it affects the kids. It affects how you learn. It affects how you dream. It affects everything.
Everything.
You can't think beyond the four walls of your life when you're used to just being contracted in those four walls.
Right.
And so with Operation School Child, like we're showing these kids that things do get better and that there are people that want to help. There are people that want to see them succeed, because the children are the future.
Amen.
And you never know like who these kids could become. They could be the people to cure cancer. They're the people that could discover a new invention that could change humanity.
Yeah.
Like you just never know.
Yeah.
People's stories and what God has for them. And so my family has always had this heart for children, my grandma especially. And so we would take whatever we can make, whether it's a little extra from the family business or fundraising for a little bit, knocking on doors. There was one year that I did like a garage sale and I sold a lot of my stuff to raise money to buy mattresses for an orphanage in Kenya. Another time it was another school. We've done like 4 schools and we never called it anything, but it always would happen at the end of the year around Christmas time. Yeah. So we called it Operation Christmas like 2 years ago.
Yeah, I remember.
That's when we started calling it Operation Christmas. Because it would happen, we would do the fundraising in December, and then once the kids get back from holiday break and they're starting the new school year or new semester, then they're like being greeted with Christmas stuff and Christmas gifts, and that is the mission with that is to propel them and encourage them to do well for the rest of the year.
Right.
And now like with that, we really want to do more than just the one-day events. Like we want to rebuild and help, like just like help build the school, because the school that we've been focusing on a lot in the last couple of years is Malivini Primary School, and they don't have windows and they don't have doors. And so even though we were able to help them a few times and like supply food for a few months, it didn't change the fact that like when it would rain, the rain would seep into the classroom, or like whenever there was just like harsh weather conditions, it would severely affect the educational experience. And so my mom and I really want to still focus on that school and help rebuild in some sort of way, or at least help, just help them. So that's what it is.
Oh,
Operation
that's amazing.
School Child.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. We share so much of the same vision when it comes to helping children. And so when you were speaking, it was so near and dear to my heart, especially with kids, like, and especially with giving back, like you were saying. Like I remember also being a kid and be like, I want to give back. I don't have a lot, but I want to give back. I want to do this. I want to do that. And so the fact that you and your family have started this thing, and not only that, now it's grown and propelled to something even greater, and it's like, okay, but what more can we do? And you guys are seeing the issues and problems, like how can we do this, how can we fix that? That's insanely like amazing for, and it's not even just like I'm giving you guys all the reward or anything like that, but it's like I'm thinking about the kids too, who are so thankful for the fact that like you and your family have stepped into this. And that's the thing with anything that you do, right? I think we think about ourselves, okay, like we're doing this and we're doing that, but like when we step back and pause, like stop thinking about, okay, what are we doing, and think about how it's affecting those that we are helping, it makes you want to do even more. It makes you excited to even want to do more. And so I'm that's amazing, Christy. Is that your family, like you guys started this Operation School? Is that from how many years ago did this start?
Oh my gosh, I can't even tell you. I think the first fundraiser that we did, I was, I think 10.
Okay.
That's the earliest that I can remember. My mom and grandma have been doing this with my aunt for several years before that. There's going to be a full launch that's coming soon in the next month or a couple of weeks, actually. Launching our website that you'll see the history. Like we have pictures.
That would be great.
From like the past few years and when I was younger, like I have pictures from that. And I just really hope that people just feel led to help be a part of it.
No, for sure. You guys are a part of something bigger than yourself.
It's so much bigger than us. Like, I don't do this for any personal gain other than I just want to see kids happy. Like, we are so spoiled here. We are so spoiled here in the Western culture it's kind of, I don't see how, like, I don't understand how we do not see this as our responsibility.
Yeah.
Like, if God has blessed us to be able to live well, to have roof over our heads, food to eat on the table, has blessed us with jobs to make money.
Yeah.
If we see others in need, why not? Why not give some of that? That's our duty as Christians, actually.
Yeah.
Is to serve others and to love each other as ourselves.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's just my responsibility.
Yeah.
I've always felt that way. So being able to do it is really just, it's an honor.
Yeah.
And it's just an act of service. Because I've been blessed enough.
Yeah.
To be able to do that.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And you don't need
a lot.
Yeah, you don't need a lot. Like, if you even have, I did a whole video about this on my YouTube channel, actually, like when I was showing what we did in Kenya last year. My main thing is, like, I can't remember exactly what I said, but I said something along the lines of, like, you use your social media for good, you can change somebody's life. Using platforms for good, even if you don't have a big platform. Being able to fundraise. I fundraised about $3,000 just by posting a reel on Instagram and forgetting about it. And like just telling, I was like, here's the link, donate if you want to. And people felt led to donate, and I did not have like a massive, and I still don't have a massive following, but people still donated.
For sure.
Just doing what you can with what you have. And I think God multiplies that too.
100%. 100%. Well, as you talk about social media, let's kind of give it to that, because you're a huge content creator, like with Instagram we talked about, and with YouTube, and a little bit in TikTok. You were saying you're like, I'm still trying to figure it out. And you're talking about how you're using it for good. Okay, so with content creation, right? I think everybody wants to get, I mean, it's a new thing, right? I mean, I'm over here trying to do this podcast thing. Now I'm learning about content creation, and I think it's, like you said, it creates a platform for people to be able to do more, and for you as ourselves to put ourselves out there and be and put our passions out there and let everyone else see. And then like you said, also using it for donation and using it for much greater things than just it's a video. Like, right, it's more than just a video. So with content creation, how putting yourselves out there, like, how did you gain the confidence to be able to do that? Because it's hard.
It's so hard.
It's so hard. Everything from, you care about what people think about you. Am I doing this right? Oh, but this person does this. Overthinking, all of it. So how did you gain the confidence to put yourself out there? I think, even with Operation School Child.
I'm still learning this. I'm gonna be very honest. I'm a content creator because I am able to make a video, edit it, post it. That's something I've created. That therefore, I'm a content creator just like anybody else. Now the confidence part of it, that's something that you learn over time. I think my confidence comes from knowing who I am. And where does your identity lie? Does your identity lie in the amount of people that are following you and who interacts with your content? Is that where you get your value? Is that what tells you that you're valuable and worth listening to or watching? Or do you know that your identity is in the one who created you? And he is who he says you are. Or you are who he says you are. And that's enough. I think once you just get over the fact that people are going to think what they think. People are going to say what they want to say. But at the end of the day, God is using you in one way or another. That's just, I think it comes naturally, but you have to keep on doing it.
The consistency part, right?
Like you have to be willing to put yourself out there. Like, I think confidence is not necessarily comfortable. Stepping out into in confidence and doing something bold, never comfortable. You're nervous. And that's natural. It's not, unnatural to feel that way, but being able to do it anyways, that's where the power and that courage comes from. Okay. And the day that it starts to like really click for you and you start to see doors open because of that, oh, that's like a driving force. Yeah. You won't even care anymore.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, this is, so, I mean, your parents, like, as I'm listening to you talk about all these things that you're a part of, like, they did such a good job of instilling that confidence in you as well. Like I, even from, like, being, like you said, from that no negative self-talk in the household, they're saying words like, I'm stupid or anything like that. That plays a huge part. For those who do care about what people say, okay, for them, like, because I care about what people say. Right. Like, to be honest, like, I think that's why it took me so long to even start my podcast. Right. Because I was like, I simply just, what are people going to think? You know? For people like me who are kind of growing out of it, is there some practical tips that you have for us or for them to kind of gain confidence in what we're trying to do?
You are the cutest person ever.
I'm dead.
You are literally like, you're just adorable.
Thank you.
I think what you're doing is so special.
No.
Sorry, I'm not answering your question. No, advice. I actually learned this yesterday. Okay. I was listening to a sermon that talks about fear and how to get over it. Yeah. And the one thing that I got out of that is that if you want to be uncommon, you need to be willing and able to defy things. Amen. You need to be willing to be okay with the idea of not everyone agreeing with you or liking what you put out. 100%. Because we get emotional validation from people liking what we do. Yeah. If anything, that's why people continue to do it. Like, if a creator sees that something is going viral, they're going to keep doing that same thing because they see that it's going, like, people like it. Yeah. But the people that last the longest with the most longevity in that are the people that are willing to stick to what they believe in and stand by what they put out. Yeah. Even if they know that not everyone's going to like it. Oh. Yeah. And that's so good. That is literally like what comes with being someone special, someone of influence and with visibility. Yeah. Is like, you're willing to be controversial. Yeah. Like, you're willing to like speak and stand your ground. Right. And the other thing that he said was, the same people that hate you today will love you tomorrow. They may be like, oh my gosh, why is she putting this out? She posts every day. Oh my goodness, she thinks she's so like, she thinks she's so cool. Yeah. She thinks she's all that, but it's really cringe. Okay, when it starts working, those same people are gonna be in your DMs, saying, "Girl, I always knew you were gonna make it. Yeah. Girl, I always knew." Like, they are the same people that are going to defend you when you're rising. And so I feel like, and I'm speaking to myself too. Like, and I think that that's what's going to propel me in the next few days and weeks and stuff. And as I continue in this journey is like, if you want to be uncommon, you have to be willing to be different. Yes. You have to be willing to be non-conforming. Right. Right. So yeah, and that goes for 100%, all things. 100%. Yeah, and I think that's why, like, with this podcasting too, it's like what you just said. Like, I've been told that a few times for a few people. It's like, even if you don't get the views, even if people don't like it, and all these things, even if it does the opposite of what you're hoping that it does, do you still enjoy it? Not only that, are you still passionate about it? Right. What's still the purpose of you doing it? Yeah. And are you, like you said, standing your ground on it? Like, hey, this is what I believe. I'm going for it. So thank you for that. Yeah. And I think that's someone is gonna be listening to that, Christy, and really, really take it to heart and be like, okay, like I've had this fear for way too long of what people think, and let me step in it, because it's holding you back. 100%. And not only that, there's people on the other side who are going to be blessed by what you're doing. Yes. And you may never meet those people. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. Those people on this, even if it's not on the
on the screen, but it's in your environment where you're doing something, but there's people on the other side who are getting blessed by it, and you don't know who's
you just
being
don't
touched
know
by it.
you
unless
literally
you actually
don't know.
Yeah.
You have to, once you believe that what you have to offer is of value, it doesn't matter.
What's your visionary process, right? Because having visions, having it written down of like, okay, this is what I want to achieve, that grows our confidence. So what are some of what do you do to do that?
Heavy on writing it down. I have about like 8 notebooks for different things. And then on my iPad I have like 10 notebooks for different things. I love writing things down and like writing the heck of it, like the heck out of it. With vision, there always has to be a strong why. So always remember that your why is what matters. That's what drives your what. It drives what you do. So with anything that I'm envisioning, like I have to make sure that it aligns with my why. Because there are going to be days where your vision seems really hard to achieve, and you have to remember why you're doing it. So when I'm planning or like just visioning, writing out a vision, I start with the why. I create kind of like a mission statement for that thing, whatever it is. And then once I have a solid why, then I start to construct what it is. And I always refer back to the why. Does it align with my mission? Does it align? Like one of my really good friends, Cindy Yang, she's one of the co-founders of Saturn Social Club, which we co-founded together with 2 of our other friends in 2022. She is just amazing when it comes to the mission of something. You can get anything done. You can accomplish anything when you have a strong mission statement. So when you create a mission statement for your life, imagine how like well directed you're going to be. And whatever you decide to add to your vision will always align with your mission. So always start with why. And then I just like start writing words, little words that define or describe what that vision is, what I want it to look like. And then I write the goals. And I dream big, like write the biggest goals. No limitations.
Right. Because as we learned earlier, y'all, New York Fashion Week.
No limitation.
No limitation. Write it down. And then once you've written it down, start to create an actual visualization of it. So go to Pinterest, start pulling stuff that aligns with it, that makes sense, that represents it. Create a board. And then decide what you want to do with the board. You can make it like a wallpaper on your phone. You can cut it out. You can print it out at Walgreens into photos and then cut them out, put them on a frame, hang it above your bed. I have one of those. See it every single day.
See it every day. There's so many creative ways to make your vision come to life. And whatever works for you, make it happen. And then make it be a visual reminder that you look at daily and pray over it. Pray and pray and pray and pray and believe it without a single doubt in your mind.
Believe it. Oh, that's the other thing. Like I wrote that down on my my YouTube or my Instagram post, right? I was like, do something and like figure out what it is and start believing in it. Because if you don't believe in it, who else is gonna believe in it? Like if you start doing something and like you said, you don't know your why, or you don't actually think that it's gonna go anywhere, it's not gonna go anywhere because you don't believe in it. And so I think that there's a lot of power to that. It's like if you know that you've started something and there's no belief in it, stop doing it. Figure out something that you actually believe in and that you know your why, like you were saying, and go for that thing. It's okay. You're a great example of someone that is okay to have multiple like failures and get back up and keep on going. I was watching a YouTube video of yours and you were you hadn't posted for a while on your YouTube, and then you came back and you're like, yo, I haven't posted for a while, but I'm really serious about doing it. And it's like there's gonna be those times where you are not as consistent as you want to be, where you're not doing what you should be doing, or where you're not meeting for me, it was like meeting the subscriber, how many people have subscribed in a month of my podcast. I didn't meet that goal. I was like, okay, well, or even the followers on YouTube, I had written it down, okay, I would love to have this. And when in those times where I don't meet those goals, like, I can't give up. Like, I can't. No, because what was the point of, if every time a small thing doesn't go my way, and I'm like, I throw, it's that phrase, throwing out the baby with the bathwater or something like that. Have you ever heard that?
Yeah.
Like, no, horrible. You throw away, it's so horrible. But the concept is like, you don't throw away everything.
It's a child.
It's a child.
Nourish it.
Yes,
you have to grow it.
You grow it. It takes time.
Yeah.
It takes so much time. No.
I'm 100% with the multiple failures. Like, you're looking at someone that has stopped and started and stopped and started, and I still am stopping and starting.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think necessarily that means you fail. No. I think it means when something isn't working for you and it starts to kill you more than bring you joy.
Yeah.
Take a step back. Yeah. Because nothing is worth more than your well-being.
Right.
Like with the Style series last year, it was go, 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 go. I was the busiest I've ever been in my entire life. Even more than when I was working 2 jobs, full-time school. Like, it was busy. Yeah. And sometimes I found myself, like, not getting enough sleep. I wasn't eating. It became like just an unhealthy addiction, I would say, because I loved what I did, and I loved like producing the videos and all this, but man, it was taking everything out of me. And then when you realize that you've drained yourself, what are you going to do with you now? You can't continue because you don't have anything in you. And so when it becomes, don't give up, but when it starts to drain you and start to affect you and your health, take a step back. Know when to. Because if there's no you to do it in the first place, it's never going to get done. Right. And then you might as well just really, that's killing the dream. Yeah. You need to sustain yourself first. Right. And so I've done that multiple times. I've done it with YouTube. I haven't posted since last year. Yeah. And it was because I was spending 14 hours per video. Editing a video. Oh my goodness. It's a lot. Plus the Style series. You have to pick one. Self-care. You pick one. You can be involved in many things, many passions, but I've learned the hard way. Putting your hands in too many pots and giving 100% to 8 different things, it's not going to work. No. So pick maybe like 2 things or one thing that you want to focus on. Yeah. And put your all into those. Right. And make it a part of your routine that fits into your daily life, where you involve rest and prioritize your rest. If you're too tired to edit, don't do it. Because then it's going to start taking the joy out of it. Right. And you don't want that. So it's okay. Like, I think it's always good to have that vision as long as your why is still there. It doesn't, just because you take a minute off of it doesn't mean that you're not fulfilling your mission and that it's not going to work. No, it just means that you need time. It's good. And maybe in that time, God wants to reveal or give you new and fresh ideas to make it work better for you. And we're young and we're still trying to figure it out. So you have time. That's just what I have to say. Good. So okay. Again, you said a lot, and I love it. So let's first tackle the first thing that I heard you say is taking care of yourself and self-care, especially with content creating and putting. You have a lot going on, a lot of amazing things. Thank you. But knowing when to take time off when it starts to drain you. So what are some self-care things that you do to kind of have rest? Yeah. I love watching Netflix. Or just watching a movie. I love movies and TV shows and just something that takes you away from your reality. Escape reality for a little bit. Go watch a movie, go read a book. Get out of your current reality. So that's my number one thing for self-care. And then I also love taking facial days,
Yeah.
like just like self-care days, pretty much, where you do like all the facial skincare stuff, take a long shower, take a long bath, hang out with friends, like do daily life things. Don't overconsume yourself in what you're trying to do. Have a balance, and it's something that you'll learn like just over time what works for you, because self-care looks different to everyone.
It does. So figure out your self-care.
What is your self-care? Mine is definitely like movies and like hanging out with friends, and spending time in my word and praying.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing. So I want to shift gears a little bit, because I think this is an important conversation of Christians stepping into different spaces that aren't necessarily the church.
Ooh, she closed the iPad, y'all.
I closed the iPad.
About to get
it. No, because let's talk about it, okay? Let's really talk about it. When someone enters into a space that's not the church, or it's not necessarily has the word Jesus in it, or the word Jesus isn't being mentioned, Christian people feel some type of way, you know? And because they think that just because Jesus's name is not being said, that you're not necessarily representing Jesus as the person.
Right.
So for you in the spaces that you're involved in, have you had any people, Christians or non-Christian, kind of look at you some type of way because you're in these spaces that aren't necessarily proclaiming Jesus, quote unquote, or mentioning Jesus's name, I should say? Have you had anyone look at you a certain way, or anything like that?
If they do look at me a certain way, I wouldn't know. Like, I think I try, anytime that I walk in those spaces, I try to represent Christ the best way that I can. And obviously there's boundaries. Like, you can be in any industry as a Christian. In fact, that's what Jesus wants. He wants us to be the salt and the light of the earth. That means going where there's no salt and where there's no light.
Chris?
So,
wait!
Do not gas me up.
Wait!
You know,
keep going.
So, so it is actually our job as Christians to diversify ourselves and go out to the ends of the earth. In all the spaces, because that is where we need to show his light and like show who God is. And so I think it's such a blessing to be in multiple different spaces, whether you're a doctor, whether you're a scientist, whether you're in music, whether you're in art, fashion, or multiple one of those things at once. Like, that is such a gift, because it gives you more ability to go and spread the word of God and spread his presence. So remind me your question. If anyone has ever looked at me different.
Has anyone ever looked at you different?
Not clearly.
And if they have, you don't know about it.
If they have, they've never, no one's directly been like, how can you do this as a Christian? But I have had conversations with other Christians that are close to me, and they, maybe they don't clearly understand the level of work that I'm doing outside of the church. Being in the social settings and even secular spaces. The fashion world is it's interesting. It's a lot. You meet all sorts of people. So there are some people that just don't understand that. But it's not really my job to make them understand, because I know that God has called me into those spaces for certain reasons. And I feel like we're doing those people a disservice by not being there.
100%.
Because they're just going to remain without experiencing any light or any, just the aura that is within us when we talk to people. That's something that you can feel. Actually, in church, one of the sermons that we had recently, Levi Smith, if you're watching this, he's one of the pastors at one church, and he was saying he was saying in his sermon that man was created to experience God. That's part of our creation as beings. We may not necessarily recognize it right away as God, but there's something you feel when you're talking to a Christian person. There's an aura that comes from us, right? Just like how they say like pretty girl energy, or like, you know, there's an aura that radiates from God's people. And to those that never got to experience that, they don't know that they were actually created to experience it. They recognize it as like different, and they are attracted to it. They like it. Maybe they'll be like, she's interesting. They know something is different about you, and it's because we were created to experience it. And so, with that being said, like being able to be in spaces where you get to give that experience to other people, and maybe you don't know what impact that has on their lives.
No idea.
Like, it is so worth. It is so worth it. And I feel like, that is my goal whenever I'm in these places. And of course, I have boundaries. Like, as a model, I'm not gonna do what most, like, a lot of models would do freely, or like, because there are boundaries that I have.
That's my next question. As a Christian who steps into these spaces, what are some of those boundaries? You kind of started answering it, but how do you still uphold your faith, or even what the scripture says about what a godly person is and who we should be? How do you uphold that in those spaces?
A certain level of modesty. So, like, I've been asked to do, like, swimwear campaigns and model for, like, swimwear brands. And I'm open to it, but it's certain type of swimwear. Like, I'm not about to be out here showing all the goods. God bless me with an amazing body, but sometimes, it's not for everyone. And I think that there's ways that you can still do those things, but still honor God and honor your body. And so I have those boundaries. I explain those boundaries, and I'm very firm about them. And I'm not apologetic about it. Because it's just a part of me that, so I'd say that's one of them. Obviously, like, vetting every experience or opportunity. Not every opportunity comes from God. So vetting those opportunities, knowing who you're working with. You're representing a brand. What does that brand stand for? So you need to also be aware of that as a model. I would say those two things are like the main things. That's amazing.
Have you had any people who do encounter you and, like you said, notice that there's something about you? Have you had any experiences like that, whether it's at the Saturn Club socials or any of the Style Series places? Have you had anyone come up to you and say something like that to you? In fact, all the time. And I don't say that to toot my own horn, but it's really like, I asked that question because I think as Christians we limit God and where he can take us in the spaces that he takes us, and then also limit that person, like, oh, you're not in church. No, but like, God is in me. If God is in me,
who can be against me?
Who can be against me? But not just that. If he's in me, people will see him in me. And I think we limit, like, us as Christians and start doubting other people's faiths. Like, who are you to doubt my faith? One, but two, who are you to doubt that I'm walking in close to hand with God? Like, and who are you to say that people can experience God through me?
Our job is not to do the supernatural in people.
It's good.
Any seed that we plant, we're just there to, our job is to just put it there. We let God do the rest. So the judgment, the condemnation, the self-righteousness, not part of our job description at all. Amen. And the Bible says that we're not supposed to judge, because we may see a little flick in somebody's eye, right? But we have a whole log in ours. And I feel like a lot of Christians like are like that, unfortunately. And it makes me sad because the Christian culture and the way non-Christians see other Christians is based off of the condemnation that they've experienced. Maybe it's like church hurt. So sad. The church hurt. Maybe somebody has condemned them or said something really like hateful towards them. That has turned the way that they see God and turned them away from church, or made them feel like it's not a place for them to be accepted. Yeah. Or even just a place that's accessible. That's so sad. Because so God is literally for everyone. Like, does not matter who you are. He is for you. He is for you. Amen. And so our job as Christians is not even to like go and convert somebody. Our job as Christians is really just to love and to serve. My life mission statement, I was talking about mission statements earlier, it's literally love all, serve all. And that word all is very broad. So it can that means I love all and serve all in any situation, in all places. So, and I think that's just literally as simple as it gets when it comes to Christianity. Yes, do we believe in right and wrong? Absolutely. And like, do we hold ourselves to that? Yeah. Right. But is it our job to tell somebody else? Like, no, to make them feel some type of way and not want to even come back to talking to you or experience Jesus again. No, that defeats the purpose. Okay. I don't even know how we got here.
I don't know either, but this is good. This is so good. Because I think this is an important conversation.
I just think that God gives us talents in different ways, and not all those talents need to be limited to just within a church.
I agree. I agree, Christy. Yeah. I 100% agree. Is there cultural influences, like, because you've been in these spaces that you've experienced, that you've kind of had to, like, in a way be like, or rebuke, really, sometimes? Is there any of those things that you've experienced? Does that make sense?
Like, are there people that I used to look up to that I no longer do? Because, okay. 100%.
Yeah. Have you been put in situations that kind of go against your faith?
Yes.
Okay. You had to be like,
it was, like, there are, and I think this happens to everyone every day. Temptation, right? Yeah. There are things that we face, like challenges that we face, or situations that we face where we have to look at our moral compass as Christians and see if it aligns. Yeah. And
do you know what's, sorry to cut you off, keep going.
And like I said earlier, not every opportunity is from God. Like, there are definitely situations where I've had to say no to things, as great as they sound. Yeah. Girl. Yeah. Like, there have been opportunities that have been presented to me that sound amazing. But if it doesn't align with what I believe, or if I think it'll lead me to misrepresenting myself and what I believe, I can't say yes to that. Yeah. It's too big of a risk. Yeah. I think with everything you have to look at opportunity cost. Like basic marketing. Marketing, not like stuff I learned in college is like, what is the opportunity cost of what you're doing? Right. What is it going to give back to you? Yeah. What is it going to make you have to sacrifice? What do you like, what is it going to take from you?
Yeah. And I'm thinking of that verse that talks about
for what does it cost
to gain the whole world, but
lose their soul?
There you go.
I literally just said this to somebody the other day.
No, and that's 100% correct. Yeah. What is the gain? Like, or lose or whatever.
You don't gain anything.
You don't gain nothing.
Because this world is like, this life is fleeting. Like a vapor.
Bye.
It is like a vapor.
And
so if you gain, you may be on top of the world.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Here it is.
Let's see it. Hear it. Come on.
There's this apostle that I listen to. Mm-hmm. Apostle Joshua Selman, I believe. Okay. But he was saying how you could look at another man who's very successful, that has a lot of money, a lot of accolades, very successful, and he could be a really great guy, really good man, good-hearted, all that. Yeah. But because he has not been saved, or because he just doesn't know who Jesus is and what he can do, it is the same as a child that is walking in poverty with no shoes, and or maybe they're sick. The child is sick, but they don't know what that they're sick because they're used to just living in that. Right. They haven't experienced anything first aid.
Oh, that's good.
Or have not been healed. Or given medicine. Right. It is the same thing for somebody that just doesn't know God. Yeah. You just don't know what you're missing. Right. Right. Until you realize that it's missing, and you're just like, wow, like, I was living my whole life without this. So you can have the whole world, but then you don't have your soul. And that's such a sad thing.
That is such a sad thing. And I love that thanks for telling that story, because it kind of goes back to just the mission as us Christians. It's like we're supposed to go into those spaces so that people who don't know that they're missing God necessarily, or haven't experienced the love of God yet, they can see a glimpse of it through us because of who we are, and the fact that you said that God is in us. So that's amazing. All right, we're gonna wrap this up.
It's been so fun.
And we can sit here and talk and talk and
we
talk.
Can talk all day, girl.
But Christy, here's the thing that I also wanted to end with. Your life is on social media, and your life is, to an extent, is being shown to people. And I think that's why it's a lot easier for someone to have opinions about you, or who might think, oh, she's in the world, she's not of Christ. And I think back to what you said earlier, it's like all of us deal with the fact that, okay, how do we obtain our faith even though we're in spaces that may not be the church? We all are in spaces, right? We go out every single day, and it's not the church. It's just that sometimes for you, it's documented. You share your life on social media, some of it, not all of it. And that's the crazy thing, is because it's not all of your life. Oh no, people don't know you. No. So for those who, because even though I feel like they haven't said anything to you, I'm just talking about for anyone in general who's a Christian and is in this spaces that you are in. You don't know that person. No. You don't know their heart.
You don't know how much they're praying.
You don't know how much they're praying.
You could see someone on social media looking like they have it all. Yeah. You have no idea what that person is struggling with. There's a song by Mary. Yes. God in Me by Mary. Yeah. That I grew up listening to. And it's about a woman who is so successful. She has the cars. She writes checks with a whole lot of zeros. But what they don't know is when she goes home, she gets behind closed doors and then she hits the floor. And what they don't see is that she's on her knees. And if you ask her, she'll tell you it's the God in me. Amen. And I feel like that's why you cannot just assume what somebody is experiencing or why they have what they have. You can't compare yourself to anyone because you don't know what they've been praying for. You don't know how hard it's taken or how much time it's taken and how much hard work it's been and how much they've had to sacrifice to get to where they are. When people look at my social media, I don't know what they honestly, I don't know what they how they perceive it, but what I know is like what I know is that everything that I've been able to do has been due to God's provision and favor.
Amen.
But also because of hard work.
Yeah.
Before we started the style series, both Hannah and I, we worked for years learning what fashion is.
Yeah.
I told you I didn't really have that much style like when I first was in high school and stuff, but like it became a passion that became, once you become exposed to it, then God gives that grace that opens your eyes to what you're capable of and what you have, and then you start to discover passions, and then it starts to like just exponentially increase, and then you realize that you're good at something and you start making progress and you open a business. Like they don't see the journey part of it. If anything, I feel like I've barely shared my life on Instagram. I barely shared my life on social media. There's so much that I want to tell people. There's so much stuff that I've learned even just being 24, and like I've gone through hell and back. Like, and that's just a fact, and people don't know that because I don't necessarily I don't share it. But it's one day the time will come. There's a time for everything. The time will come where I maybe on here again like will share the testimony of how God was able to deliver me from certain things and give me the platform that I have. It's nothing comes easy. Absolutely nothing comes easy. It all comes with hard work and prayer and visualization and belief and your why. Like those things are what creates the reality that you live in, and you can't let fear be a part of it anymore. Once I let go of that, I let go of the spirit of fear, like I feel like the sky is the limit. So
God doesn't give us spirit of fear.
God does not give us the spirit of fear. He gives us power, love, and a sound mind. That's what he gives us.
Amen. I know time is running.
We out of time, y'all.
But what is your testimony?
What is my testimony?
What's your testimony, Christy? You don't have to share. You don't have to. You don't want to?
We'll have to save it for another day because it is another 2 hours.
Another 2 hours
on the mic. Oh yeah.
Man, if I would have known this, that would have been the episode. What?
Oh no, it's not. My story is not yet done being written.
Amen.
Like I said, I'm just at the beginning. I'm still learning everything.
I believe it.
Yeah, but maybe ask me in a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to have you back on, Christy.
100%.
She's gonna have to come back on. Do you hear that, my part podcast? Everyone, go spam Christy's Instagram account. It's gonna be linked in the bio, and tell her you have to come back to my part podcast.
I'd love to be back. I would.
We loved having you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for your knowledge. Thank you for being in the spaces that you're in and playing the part that God has given you. And it's not even a small part. It's a huge part, Christy, okay?
Amen.
So continue to say yes to God. And so my part podcast, I pray that you were encouraged. I pray that you were so encouraged because Christy shared an amazing, so many amazing gems that I pray that you take and apply to your own life, especially those who feel like God has called them to be in the public space and have some type of platform on social media, but most importantly, outside of your social media, right? I think sometimes we get too caught up on showing people what we're doing, but what about your personal life, right? Is that intact? As Christy said in Mary in that story, like she was on her knees 24/7. So thanks for joining us today. Thanks for being here.
Thanks
and
for watching.
I hope, Christy, that you go with God as you have continually done so. Thank you again for who you are, just for your testimony, and thank you for coming on to my podcast. It means so much. Okay,
it means so much to be here,
and we're gonna have to be back. Okay.
Yes, I will be back.
So to be continued with Christy. Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
And we'll see you next time on my podcast.
Don't forget to subscribe.
Don't forget to subscribe, please.
And like the video.
And like. Anyways, we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.